It's my birthday. I'm posting this. Hopefully I got it edited in time, and I'm posting it as it should be going up on my birthday. I am dirty, flirty, 30. I have been waiting. And when I say waiting, I made a TikTok recently talking about how I felt like I could not physically get myself to do anything until my birthday had come, and then realized the connection of like remembering being like a 16-year-old girl and waiting to turn 18 because then you'd finally be an adult. I think for the past like 3-4 years, I've made a video on my birthday talking about the X amount of things that I've learned in X amount of years. And I was thinking at one point about doing that for this year, but to be honest, 30 is a big number. And while I have definitely learned a plethora of lessons and could do all 30, and maybe I'll make a blog post of 30 things I've learned on the Patreon. I have a Patreon now with my portraits and blog posts and little letters. I'll link that down below, but maybe I'll do all 30 lessons for that. But I really just wanted to talk about just the big core things, maybe the 3 things that I have learned in my 30 years, because 20 for me personally was a hot mess. Okay, it was nothing like what I ever had imagined when I was the 16, 18-year-old girl. I never imagined 20 to be what it was. I never imagined myself to be who she was. And I have surely learned a thing or two. While I was getting ready this morning, I was actually listening to Jade Fox talk about her feelings on, it's her birthday, she a Leo. I'm a Virgo. I'm on the cusp, but I'm a Virgo. But she's talking about her thoughts on getting older and the things that she had learned. And she's not turning 30. I think she's turning 33 or something like that. She's a little bit older than me. But it really got me thinking, because one of the biggest things, all right, I guess we're starting off. Actually, I think all of these are going to be pretty big, but whatever. I'm gonna always be dramatic. I'm gonna always say it's the biggest thing. But one of the biggest things that I have learned is how little everything matters. Nothing matters as much as I once thought it was going to. My brain as a 16, 18, 23, 25, 28-year-old had just thought everything mattered so much. And I'm standing here and I'm telling you right now, if you're in your 20s and you feel behind, you feel like, you keep messing up, you feel like you don't know what you're doing, I am here to shake you and tell you that, honestly, babes, none of this stuff is that serious and you are okay. And I wish that I had understood that. I wish that I had somebody that could tell me that in a way that I would have understood just how little all of this stuff matters. I think it goes back to when we were in high school, especially I was a marching band kid, and I think you only really know the marching band experience if you were in it. And we are the basis of marching band, the basis of being a Black kid in an all-white school, the basis of, in general, maybe high school and college prep is everything you do at this point goes on your permanent record. Everything you do matters, and it impacts you as an adulthood. And I think that just put this unnecessary pressure, and a lot of people I feel like at some point are able to let go of that, but some of us are not. And I was never able to let go of any of the idea of a permanent record and the idea that everything that I do is going to impact and follow me for the rest of forever. And it was going to hurt me. That was the thing, was I never thought about the good things that would follow me. I only thought about the bad things. And I'm here to tell you that yes, there are things there are decisions, there are choices, there are behaviors, there are hurts, there are bad things that I may have done in my past that creates its own box of trauma, or, has its own consequences, but it's not as bad as it may all seem. Like, it's just not as serious as it once all seemed. In my 20s, and I do talk about this a lot, in my 20s, I was a hot mess, all right? And a lot of that, now that I'm on the other side of that, I realize a lot of my hot mess behavior was me acting out of survival mode, was me acting out of trauma, okay? And one thing that I have learned in my 30s is You cannot wait for other people to forgive you or for other people to give you some sort of reprieve. You have to give that to yourself. You have to give yourself grace. You have to love yourself enough to give yourself grace every single day, every single time you do something that's maybe not as perfect as it could have been. You have to love yourself enough for that love. Actually, that is the biggest thing. Am I scatterbrained? A little bit, but that is actually the biggest thing I've learned. But I'll get back to that in a second. I talk about this in my 20s. I was a hot mess, all right? I was acting out of trauma. I was acting out of survival mode. So everything I did was inherently just so that I could keep myself from really dying, really just falling apart, really just, in a worse situation than probably the worst situation I was already in. And now that I'm on the other side, I've done the healing, I've also just physically put myself in a space where I don't have to operate out of survival. It's like I have so much compassion for that person. I used to be so angry at the person that I was in my 20s because I just did not understand that. I didn't understand her. I was like, why would I have done that? Why would I have acted that way? I know who I am. I know who I am when I'm alone. I know who I am when I'm around people. I know who I want to be. And that is somebody that is caring. That is somebody that is loving. That is somebody who, I say it all the time. I'm a mother without being a mother. I just feel like I just inherently want to care and give space to other people, give safe space to other people. And I was not acting in that way. And it made me angry because I was like, why couldn't I have been this person that I wanted to be and felt like I was? Why wasn't she there? And a lot of it was because I couldn't care for other people properly because I couldn't even care for myself, And so I had to extend grace for that younger version of myself, extend grace sometimes for the younger people that were a part of my lives that made me the way that I was. I have to extend grace to them as well so that I personally can move on. It's not for them, it's for me. And I have to love myself enough to love all the versions of me that have existed. I don't have to agree with all the versions of me that have existed. I don't have to, think that they're the best person on the earth, but I do genuinely know my heart and I know who I am. And I know that those versions of me that have existed in the past, they really just needed the person that exists today. They really just needed that grace. They really just needed that love. And so the biggest thing I have learned in my 30 years is just the importance of self-love, which is, and I think I'm getting emotional about this because so much of my platform was based on self-love. And so much of the messages that I used to get and sometimes still get today are like, oh, you being you. I remember distinctly a drag show that I performed at way in my early 20s. And this older gay man came up to me and he was like, I love seeing you because it makes me feel proud to be who I am. Seeing you just be unabashedly yourself. And I think back to when I went viral and my video came out and people started to see me as a deaf singer and how it helped other people that find some solidarity in me. And it's so funny thinking about those moments because I can honestly say, especially in my early years, I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel like I got to be myself. I didn't feel like I got to love myself. I didn't feel the way that everybody was perceiving me as. And now I can genuinely say I love myself more than anybody else in the right way. Not in a bad way, in the right way. I feel so good. I feel so strong. I feel so empowered. I feel so compassionate for the versions of me that I couldn't love. I feel just so much love, and I can tell because of how much love I have for myself, I'm actually able to love others better too. And I don't know, y'all. In my 30 years, I think one of the biggest things I have actually learned was just the meaning of love and what it means to really love yourself and how you can extend that love to others. This is my birthday video. I know it's not much. I can't even see how long it is. I think I hit an appropriate amount of time, but I just really wanted to say hey. and I'm here, and love. If you can learn that lesson sooner than I did, I applaud you, and I'm happy for you. But it took me a second, and I'm here, and I made it. And what are my goals for 30? I might have made goals last year and put it in my video. I don't even remember. But honestly, my goal right now for 30, because I can't think of turns of decades. I can barely think of next week, okay? But my goal for 30, honestly, the overall theme for 30 really is just self-love and romanticism. And that is it. And, you know, like I got my slip on today, and I'm just really feeling the vibe of just living in that self-love. I've given so much love to other people, or tried to give so much love to other people, that I ended up not loving myself. I had no love left for myself. And I want to give love to myself and really appreciate myself and do the things for myself that I've always wanted to do. And so here I am. I am 30. Well, I guess right now, technically, as I'm filming this, I'm still 29. But imagine me couple days older, 4 days older, and I am 30, and I am living, and I am sexy, free, and happy, and I hope you are too. And until next time, until the next video comes out, I hope you have a great day. I hope that you are able to extend compassion and grace and love to yourself. Bye.